Welcome back to Book of Dawn, IOTH Academy, episode 101. Our heroes are in the holy city of Brontha, as Mason and Garnet try to make their way out from under her mother's watchful guards to have a private meeting with Inaros Ardashir, the marshal of Brontha. Athalor waits now in relative quiet and solitude, accompanied only by Marison Tosaka, in the high temple of Calor's court. Athalor, as time goes by, acolytes are going to show up to take your measurements.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Athalor's very familiar with this, being from an artisan family.
Mm-hmm.
And is very accommodating of them.
Yep. They'll go ahead and do that and then scuttle off. Preparations, you can see, even from where you are, and even if night begins to fall, it's always daylight in this room. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the High Council, they are staying up in this altar, and from time to time, high-ranking priests, firekeepers, walk in to like bow before them and then consult with them as they're making arrangements for this fairly large scale, even if they're going to try to keep it quiet. The ritual is going to take 24 hours, and it apparently involves a lot of steps and a lot of logistics. And so there's just people coming and going and such, and Marison is with you. Just sitting next to you in the pew the entire time. You can let that time pass in silence. You can engage as needed. I just want to give you a shot first.
As time begins to pass, and he just watches the running river flow of zealotry and all of us who would come, he looks over. Lady General Marison, could I ask you a strange question?
Wouldn't be the first.
I suppose not. As you know, the people of Onderoot don't quite share the theocratic outlook on the state. This one's a bit more personal. What's it like to pray or commune? How do you talk to Zayla?
Each in our own ways. Some in the quiet of our hearts, some spoken aloud, and some as an entire city. Every time the sun rises, we're all united in one prayer that we all know by heart. Just giving thanks that the sun has risen again. At noon, we stop for a moment. I'm sure that your people already feel this way, Athalor, because their memories, some of them are older than Zalar. Your children of Luminius, the ones who remember the dawn. They know the Titans aren't infallible, omniscient, all-powerful. They know that gods can make mistakes, and they can't be everywhere at once, and that evil and harm and horror still endure upon the world, despite their promises. I rarely feel like I'm speaking with the Sunrider and he's speaking with me. But I believe my actions in following his example and teachings are preventing harm, saving lives, and saving what light we can. Every boring council meeting I sit in is a prayer. Every time I unsheath my sword, it's a prayer. Prayer is not something I do. It's a way that I live.
Was giving birth to Garnet a prayer?
Yes.
Can I ask
Desperate
what
one.
happened? People referred to it as a miracle. Obviously, Garnet wasn't as conscious of it.
I try to tell myself that I was exactly where I needed to be. Icos armies had crossed Athalor's lands, burned and sacked our outlying watchtowers and strongholds, and set siege for weeks. And the day that they decided to attack us with everything that they had, I knew it was coming. Archon Rephidim was a good tactician, but not a brilliant strategist. He knew he had an advantage and he took it. So when the attack came, and I should have been on the walls in the area, watching everything and giving the orders, I was back here in the city, in the middle of labor, yelling at messengers as they came in and out because I needed to know what was happening. And I asked Zalar to give my child at least the chance of a joyful life. At least some hope of it. He's been about 50-50, maybe a little bit less on that prayer. But when I saw her face, and I saw the mark on her hand at the same time. And I heard the keening cry of the phoenix over the walls. And in all the pain I was in at that moment, I could feel my heart leaping at seeing her and at something else. And I saw the fire sweeping over our city. I didn't actually know what happened at first, because it was my husband's prayer that truly was answered on that day. Mine is, we'll see how that turns out.
I'm glad yours has worked out so far.
I just hope it does. Maybe I'm
gives her a
greedy.
little smile.
Maybe I'm greedy. I just asked for a chance at joy, but I think I'd like a bit more for her than a chance.
No. Joy can often be a small part of a larger, more stressful life, huh? And I don't think Garnet was ever destined to have a simple life where joy could be constant.
So I didn't ask for one.
When the sun rises here, are there words to that prayer, or is it more metaphorical?
No, there's words. We wait to hear from the trumpets from the towers. It's a prayer of gratitude of a promise fulfilled, of, well, and she's gonna tell you the whole thing, which I just dropped into your DMs because yes, I wrote it.
Cool. Athalor's very much like, I think I'd appreciate you teaching me just to join you for one dawn in particular.
All right, she'll go over it with you. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the city, Garnet and Mantra are reluctantly in the care of the Phoenix Knights, who are diligently leading you wherever the hell it is that you're supposed to be going. And they have not promised not to tell the general what happens. They have promised to give you some semblance of privacy that they can. And they've been threatened with death if they snitch. Under their watchful auspices, unless the two of you commit further shenanigans, you will arrive at your destination without incident.
If there's any shenanigans, that's all Garnet. Not
Okay.
Mantra.
How long
Okay.
is the walk? If
Oh, it's got to be at least an hour.
damn,
It's okay. So in an hour, the average human goes like what, 4 miles, and that's if you're keeping like a pretty good pace.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely do more than that, but it's a crowded city, right? There's
like
a lot of
radial city.
it's a radial city, and there's a lot of elevation. A lot of it is built high. They do most everything, not everything. There's a lot of red clay, a lot of red clay bricks, and they like steps, like the temples that dot the outside, like the 4 cardinal points, are huge pyramids. Effectively, they're practically ziggurats. So there's a lot of stairs involved, and a lot of crossing from place to place, and like the Phoenix Knights know ways to keep you out of sight as much as possible. So there's a lot of up and down, and it's not a straight line, which is why it takes like an hour to get there. Like walking in New York.
As we're walking, Mantra is making note of the general architecture there with the plans in mind of actually creating that like commemorative piece for Brontha eventually, and might like ask the guards at some point like some questions about just things that he sees around and the elements of them, things like that.
They're happy to answer. You can tell that a lot of their concerns are for the tactical aspects of things,
yeah, for sure,
defense of the city and why it's actually built like that. In case that enemies ever reach the 3rd prefect, we can, they have to go up and we can go down, and it's, blah, blah, blah.
Cool.
Anything else over the course of that hour?
yeah. Are they like following us super close? This is non-shenanigan. This is for private conversation matter.
They'll give you like 15 feet. Actually, hold on. What's the radius on their aura? Okay, their aura of protection is only 10 feet. They will give you 15 feet.
Okay.
Because they need to be able to get you inside their aura of protection at a moment's notice.
Right. I guess like as Mantra is studying the architecture and stuff, she like looks like she wants to say something, but she like doesn't know how to bring up sort of a weird topic, and just kind of like waits for Mason to like bring the conversation back towards her, or like if he's talking to himself or like looking at his notes or something.
It's like looking around, and eventually probably like gaze will turn to is Garnet like looking at Mason, at Mantra at all, or
Yeah, I guess she's just like looking at you to see what you're studying. Doesn't know what you're doing.
for sure, I guess. Yeah. Turn to Garnet and just be like, "Oh, I'm trying to observe the city. It is. I mean, I said that the first time I was here, but it's a beautiful city, and if I'm going to make the commemorative thing, try to just get some inspiration. Is everything okay? You
Today is
kind of
I mean, today is scary. Today is a lot.
very, yeah.
I think with Athalor becoming this sort of enemy to the academy, you and Sven leaving soon, Prius hates me, Ariana's gone, Mom's picking the council over me. I I have this really sinking feeling I'm gonna be alone again.
Do you mind if I would be really blunt with you right now?
Sure.
I mean, maybe it'll seem weird or dismissive, but it feels like, and I don't blame you for this, but you're just kind of cherry picking the negative, which there has been a lot of bad happening, but that's not all of what's happened. Right? There's a lot of good. And even in those things you've listed, they're all have hope within them. And they might leave you alone for a time or without the people that you love and care about for a time, but it's not a forever thing. I'll be back and still love and support you.
What do you think is good right now?
That we're still alive, still here, have a goal that we're working towards and things that we've accomplished. We've saved so many lives, Garnet, right? Like that's
And at
your
a cost? Pretty large cost.
what are the costs to you that you think?
Well, when the Knights of Terra Nimbus came, there were casualties. There continues to be casualties wherever we go. And I don't see how the good of just simply living as a reward.
It's not just simply living. I mean, let's take the whole Diffraxis plan, right? We, with a very small team, didn't quite fully destroy, but definitely made a large dent in their plans and their war machines and their attack that was planning to kill many people. It's not just us fighting for our own survival, we're fighting for the survival of innocent people, people we care about. They're important too.
And I almost got Master Elnau and Untamalr killed when that all happened. They're lucky to be alive. Actually, they almost weren't because they were in the underworld. Some of them. Wasn't a great experience, and I don't consider that a win, although you guys do.
I think however you feel about it is okay, right? I don't think you'd be who you are if you took things you didn't feel like you did good enough and settled there. No. That's why I know you're going to continue to do a lot of good and always strive to do better. And that's one of the things that and I think a lot of people admire about you, Garnet.
It's just weird. It's being surrounded by people, but not feeling like they're there. Feeling like you are still alone, and that sucks. Because I don't want you to go, if I'm honest, and that's really selfish. And I don't want Athalor killed as much as I tease him that I wish I could kill him sometimes. I don't. I don't want to see him burned at a stake. I don't want to watch that happen. I don't want to potentially lose him or any of you. And I don't want to make the same mistake of letting Ariana go the way I would let any of you two go.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't think I quite understand it the same way that you do, given all that's happened, and I won't pretend to, but I know that this is something very important to you, and yeah, sometimes I guess paths diverge, whether you want them to or not. And it's not, obviously for me, I can't speak to others, but not a slight against you or me not valuing your friendship and you being there for me and Sven. I know that probably doesn't feel like enough and won't be.
Well, as long as you're safe, you know, it's fine. You'll
Try
be
to be.
fine. Just know I'll miss you both.
Miss
If
you
something
too.
happens to him. But if something does happen to him, I won't forgive myself. And he's also hyping me up for this all to fail. It's kind of jinxing it.
Hmm.
It's either I won't forgive myself if I mess it up, or I won't forgive Brontha if they mess it up, and I'm not sure which one will be easier to take.
Neither would be. Both would be horrible, obviously. I know you have a lot of trust in your friends, right? In Athalor?
Yeah. His uncle's not around.
I know that complicates it a lot. That's, I mean, why we're in this mess partly. But I don't know. It's weird of me, I think, to have as much faith as I do about this. I don't worship the same kind of things that Brontha does or any of this process. I'm not even familiar with it, but I think the confidence of which Athalor is going about the situation and the confidence of which I've seen you do the things that you do, and you're from this place after all, right? Even if you haven't spent a lot of time here, I wasn't there to witness that miracle like Athalor was, but there was something about the look he gave when he was counting that situation. I would always believe that.
Yeah. I guess with just losing trust in so many people so suddenly with, Inaros, to my mom, to being confused about Athalor and questioning him as a friend when it's obviously the uncle. Like it's like a lot. And when I feel like I can't trust people or they don't know me, then I am alone. Then I am not their
Hmm.
friend, or they are nothing to me and I am nothing to them. And I'm glad that I have you and Athalor. That is also all I have left. And no pressure.
I understand. That's when it's the hardest. When those people, the ones you let in, give you, whether they mean to or not, some reason to doubt. I get that. It's hard. I don't think there's a simple answer to that. It's just time, I guess.
Yeah. Just time heals all. I've heard that one.
I mean, not quite what I meant. Let me, and then Archer kind of thinks deeply for a few seconds. Time doesn't heal all, but it does allow us more time to think in perspective, even within ourselves, within others. I think a lot differently than I did last year, and even more differently 2 years ago, and have some different values, standards, things like that. Not that it has to change, but some parts of us always will. Maybe something will get easier. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be fulfilled through other people. Who knows, right? We just know what's in the present that feels the strongest. It always will.
Yeah. How things change over time is actually what I'm worried about, because things have only changed for the worse. For me, at least. Although maybe you see things differently. I experience things differently, and all of this to say, not to kill the mood of our walk and your study of
No,
architecture. I'm just
it's
lucky
okay.
to have someone like you as a friend and someone that I can talk to, which was the whole point of this. So,
You're the blessed child, but I feel blessed to know you.
stop. Don't ever call me that. Not a child.
Yeah, that felt weird. That felt it's everyone calls you that. It does get old, doesn't it? Sorry.
It's fine. Wait, do you actually prefer Mason or Mantra? Because I keep getting those confused. Blessed
I mean,
Mantra.
mantra with it's kind of mantra with you, of course, just around other people who don't know me is that which is really just you and Athalor and Ariana, but yeah, just Mason if there's other people around.
Oh, okay. Right.
It's like it's a cultural thing.
And this rock, and she'll just start babbling about a rock or like how it's made or some shit. Totally not
Athalor.
knowing.
They as the hubbub continues, they have started to. The reason that they're taking measurements, as High Priest Walagash explains, is that by dawn, when the sun rises, you need to be at the Eastern Temple, the Temple of Sunrise. And before that, you are to be anointed with ashes and cleansed, which involves first a very hot, dry sauna, and then a hot bath, and then robes that they are preparing for you right the hell now.
Ooh, nice.
So that is like they're burning the things that they're going to be using for the ashes that they're going to be anointing you with, and they're saying prayers over them. It's not even all happening here. It's just stuff that's happening around, things going back and forth. But they just want to prepare you for that much. All right, Garnet and Mason, you arrive at the area of the sun, the fortress overlooking the walls. And out beyond this are the fields that still shimmer with glass shards from the 2 times that they have been completely nuked. You are escorted in. The guards here take security very seriously. This is the fortress of the Knights of the Phoenix, the Phoenix Knights. This is like their main base. But you're obviously ushered in. There is a brief waiting period before you are escorted into a room. And you can tell that there's a little bit more security, a bit more in the way of guards around right now. And the atmosphere is tense, but the door is not locked. And when you are brought in, Inaros is waiting, still in all of his proper gear, on the other side, inside the door.
Oh, did you want me to wait outside, or did you want to take this one solo this time? Because that was the vibe of before, and it was a little strange.
I think you'd be happier to, go have some tea or something.
Yep.
Check out all the architecture.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look
Yeah.
at anything here. That's really cool, and just kind of
Yeah,
start
military
wanders off.
dudes.
Whoa.
All right. The door is shut almost immediately afterwards, leaving you in the room with Inaros. He bows at the hip. Very, he still has his little phoenix badge and necklace and his black armor, his furs, and all that things. He bows deeply at the hip.
Are there these people here, or is this
Those
just...
are empty suits of armor. Those are decorative.
Oh.
There's no one else in the room.
Just kind of waits an awkward moment to see if he says anything.
Would you still have me call you Garnet?
Why did you stop responding to me?
Hmm.
Why didn't you warn me?
Upon my return here, I was escorted immediately to be interviewed by the general, who employed one of the rooms of truth, which illuminates thoughts and lies. Had I responded to you in any way, my thoughts would have betrayed me. My response would have been detected.
You were getting my messages while in that room?
Yes.
What did she ask you? What did you say?
I told her that my loyalty lies with Brontha, as it always has. She was clever, but I could tell immediately that she was aware that Evandal was somehow involved. I had only recently started asking those questions and discovered that information, and apparently that was traced back rapidly, and they impugned upon my honor and questioned my loyalty. I answered them in full on those matters and said nothing of my dealings with you. I regret that I was unable to warn you earlier. I had no access to magic. And as I said, if I had responded to you in that moment, I fear I would have, in so doing, betrayed you.
What do you mean you don't have access to magic?
Under the circumstances of suspicion, I was not permitted any sending scrolls of my own. It was only recently when the order to reinstate me was given that I have had access to the full resources befitting my role. I have been under significant suspicion.
And I'm sorry for that.
Think nothing of it.
Athalor has... There was just an intruder that mentally was able to get a lot of information from our discussions, and in order to delay some of our plans, uh, metaphorically threw you under the bus by telling the council. And then I was called to a not trial, but sort of trial. And I was very upset to not get a warning from you or my mother.
Had I had any opportunity to warn you, I would have, Garnet. And given that your mother was the one doing the questioning and had some additional questions regarding the nature of my visits to the Academy, I rather think she wouldn't have warned you.
What did you say about the visits?
I said that when I was summoned, I went.
That is the truth. Seem very good at evading the details in the room of truth.
I wouldn't want to betray you in any way. However I have to employ my mind, I will.
Well, I was able to talk to the king about getting you back on the council, and hopefully those suspicions die down.
Of course I'm grateful. Thank you.
I did say that we would have to cut contact and that they want me to rely on Master Seer or Spy Master Seer to get information. That's where I was explaining our dealings, was that I wanted to purchase information out of Evandal, and you were helping me arrange that. And it all made sense to them. Still does. But in order for you to be back on the council, I wanted to make sure that they knew that there wasn't anything to worry about and that we weren't going to talk anymore.
And is that your intention, Garnet?
Well, I did come here with an escort, so they will soon know that we have talked.
He smiles.
I'm in enough trouble. It's a little bit more. I just wanted to clear things up in case. I mean, we clearly thought maybe each other betrayed each other, so.
Not for a moment.
Really? What? You didn't think I betrayed you?
Of course not. There are so many factors, so many moving parts, so many schemes and unknowns that I was simply waiting until everything became clear by my own actions, the actions of others. I had no cause to think that you had betrayed me, nor to think that you will.
Well, I'm sorry about the trouble. I do still like talking, but your position on the council is of utmost importance.
My position on the council is a means to an end, Garnet. And so far as it serves those ends, it will continue.
Well, she approaches.
Mm-hmm.
I've enjoyed having you as my eyes and ears in Brontha. So thank you for helping me.
As have I. Is there anything else I can help you with?
We'll just have to hopefully get access to your sendings again, or find more hidden way to make visits, if that's possible.
I'll make it possible.
Okay. Well, carry on as you were.
As I were was ever loyally yours, Garnet.
Oh, yeah. Those parents.
Right. He reaches into his pocket and grabs a scrap of parchment. And passes it over to you. And it's a transcript of a letter, not the original.
What the fuck?
Despite the cloud of suspicion that fell upon me, I was able to fulfill one more request.
Wait, DM question. What's the who's Tamine? Tamine? Who's that?
That is the person who sent the letter. It's one of the tribal leaders of the Dune Riders. Not someone you'd be immediately familiar with.
Oh.
Actually, let me check that. I might be wrong.
You said it was one of the parents that sent it,
yeah,
right?
I think that's his parent. I think that's his mom. I need to verify.
Verify motherhood. When you're in the middle of labor and they make you do a capture.
Not parent. Aunt.
But the original letter that was pissing off Dad was aunt as well?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. I've been pissed at the wrong people then. Okay, I retconned all the parent shit.
Totally
and
fine.
Just
Yep.
family shit.
Hey, I mean, just given the
Um,
family structure of the Dune Riders, it's pretty close, anyways.
Got a matriarch to fight.
Yeah, this is the letter that was sent to the mom. Is this just the same letter?
Did you not already have a copy of it?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's
Nice.
just giving me a copy. I thought this was a new letter. My bad.
Nope. This is this. You now have the original text of the letter.
How did you get this from my mom?
I would never, ever think to get one over on the general of Brontha's armies, Garnet. But I have friends amongst the various other scribes in high places. Friends who may now find themselves under Seer's watchful eye, but at least there was one more time I could act as your eyes and ears.
Well, I hope to continue this deal with you because I don't care for Spy Master Seer to tell my business to everybody. So we'll just have to be more cautious.
I will redouble my efforts.
All right, well, I will head back. Thanks for the letter. I will find who this person is when the rest of my affairs are done.
Is there anything else you would have of me?
Yeah, just keep tabs on the council and what they're up to when I'm not around.
Of course.
Check-ins are fine too.
Gratefully.
Okay. Bye. Just, I don't know how to leave
Out the
conversations.
door.
Bye.
All right.
Oh, just opens the door to face right there.
Do you... Oh, everything okay? You good?
Is that a good wall that you're looking at?
It's... Yeah, the certain things that are on the wall are very interesting. And made really well. I was taking notes.
Anything else
Mhm.
you want to see since we are free?
Are we free? Should we get back, keep Athalor some company, or...
Well, now that you're making me feel bad.
I wasn't trying to, but it
Do you
did
wanna-
take like an hour to get here, so it took like an hour to get back, and you know.
You want to rejoin your escort and return to Kalos Court?
Can we ask for horses or like a faster ride? The Phoenix Knight, please.
Yeah, oddly enough, the Phoenix Knights don't usually ride horses. Oh, there's a reason for it. There's a reason
Really?
for it. Yeah.
A knight with no horses?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
The horses don't tend to react well when they invoke Zalar's blessing and fly towards their enemies in a burst of flame.
That's fair.
Well, you got to get the horse to
Yeah.
cast a spell.
That's true.
Being
That's
fair.
true. All right, they'll go ahead and get you back. Athalor, unless there's anything else that you needed to happen there, sometime around the time that they get back a few hours later, so too will Elno, with a few scrolls of mind blank that she was able to scrounge up, and a couple of different apothecary substances.
What?
Oh. She got the hookup.
Yeah, it's the Uno reverse card. Now the teacher drugs the student. Poggers.
Wow.
Oh,
We're
Elno
morally
will
equal
remember
now,
this.
right?
Smoke this.
Do it, you wuss. The whole thing.
Okay, students, listen up. Here's how you rip a bomb.
Oh yeah. We need the art of that now.
All right. So the lot of you are gathered. And it's going to be a few hours before they take Athalor out for ritual purification before this whole day begins. You can choose how to pass the time, or we can fast forward to then and just assume that a lot of you are hanging out.
You just
Yeah.
said it's gonna be a few hours till they take him out.
There's
damn.
a sniper at the back of the court.
Yep. Just let me tell you about the rabbits.
Just look at the flowers. I don't have anything.
No, I'm chilling.
I
Okay.
figure that they're probably going to sleep because this seems like an all-day ritual.
Mm-hmm. Who can sleep? Who's able to sleep?
trancing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have what we can do. What, a short rest and we won't die?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can take a nap.
Okay.
I think of it
Little-
trancing as a
little
lot more
nap.
like mechanically voluntary than sleeping, so you can probably
Mhm.
just you can give it some.
Yep.
I'm gonna meditate real freaking hard.
What paths of memory is Athalor treading?
I think he's replaying the miracle in his mind, trying to reassure himself that like this power is real. I've seen it happen.
Mm-hmm.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. I did see you burn Alex to a cinder, and he came back and saw
He'll
the
be
miracle.
He'll be
Yeah.
fine. All right.
Be fine.
Just killed other friends. What's another one?
Why
A
not?
few hours before dawn, some acolytes approach, and they rouse you, and they tell you that it is time. And El now immediately takes the scroll of mind blank, reads through the whole thing, hits you with the spell. You can feel that even though you didn't really feel your uncle's presence before, there's a familiar quiet, like being in a soundproof room almost, inside your head when that spell is active. And they are going to lead all of you out towards the Eastern Temple. The sky is still dark. Not even the tinges of red have begun that herald the coming of the sunrise.
Oh, it's nice to have some alone time in here. It's been a while.
The Eastern Temple actually is on the same side of the city because, yeah, the area of the sun where the two of you were was on the northern, like a northeast edge. The Temple of the Sunrise is close to the outer walls, but not all the way there, kind of like midway, and it's cardinal east. It, like the other temples aside from Calor's Court, takes the form of a red brick stone ziggurat built with things on top of it, including two huge pillars at the top that furl out, shaped like wings, and an enormous brazier for burning coals and incense that tracks exactly the place where the sun will rise. Inside the temple are chambers where they're going to take Athalor, and like they are walking alongside you with incense, and they're going to take you to the sauna to sweat it out and then to be bathed.
Cool.
And for the two of you, they just have like fruit juice and stuff for you to sit and wait. Go ahead, Athalor.
Orange juice. Is Athalor allowed to keep accessories?
What do you have in mind? This is a
Ariana's
pure-
friendship bracelet.
Yes. Yes.
Athalor does forget a huge amount of spells he's prepared as he takes off the headband of intellect.
Oh no, the derp.
The brain's powering down, boy.
Mm-hmm. So for the next few hours, you are anointed with ashes as prayers are invoked over you. Sat in a room full of a lot of fire and heat and stones to just sweat. Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, baby. 16.
A 16. Okay, you don't take a level of exhaustion. Followed by a very hot bath. After which, they bring you robes that were made overnight that are just completely white. Just like pure white linens, no markings on them, no anything. And once you have that, the two of you are allowed to rejoin him, and the priests lead you up on top of the temple, right between the two in the open air, right between the two wing-shaped pillars. And they just sort of sit you down there with a little incense burner that you can smell cinnamon and some other spices there. And Athalor, as you are walking the cycle in its entirety over the course of a single day, this is the time to contemplate origins. Your own birth, your own nature, everything that made you who you are. And it is important to hold to these things because the natural state of death is to be unwound and returned to the four kingdoms in 1,000 different ways and 1,000 threads to be woven into new things. And if you are to be rebound into yourself, then you need to know exactly what that self is and how to weave it back together. The priests will then give you some space and just leave the three of you sitting there on top of this thing. And it's probably an hour before dawn when they finally get you out there.
It's very weird to be as effortfully introspective. Trying to think about what you are. Like, I don't know, magic elf guy. It's difficult to put into words. Maybe just like sounds, smells, memories. And I've got to remember them all so that I can come back to them.
Do you want some meditative kind of exercises to help?
That sounds nice.
These are kind of thought cycles that I've gone the same way, of course, but I've done myself. Just bear with me, and it'll go on and explain like a whole process of thought and have some kind of physical like motions to go along with it, and try to get them thinking about stuff and maintaining those thoughts in a kind of calming meditative pattern.
Cool. I think Athalor is going to be reasonably good at this, as it's kind of like the same kind of pathway you do for trance, but with actions now. And delves into what it means to be a little elf kid who shakes like a weird thrumming cosmic center. And gets real scared fighting big bats. But goes anyway, because being left behind is worse than being killed.
Over time, a red light glows across the horizon. And it spreads slowly into other shades, from the cool sort of first reds up to the warm orange, and then a burning yellow, and finally the actual golden light of the sun streaming directly over the desert and shining just, again, as if somebody designed this for this a long time ago, directly ahead of all three of you. And as it does, you can hear the entire city stopping for a moment in prayer.
Athalor glances over to Garnet and then looks over to the sun and joins in with what Marison taught him with the opening prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Look east, O Brontha, look east. People delivered by Kalor, look east. From darkness a new day is dawning. From death a new sun is born. Across the sky, behold his wings, a Sunrider comes in glory. His promise eternally fulfilled anew, our faith is never misplaced. Rejoice, O Brontha, rejoice. Let hope kindle within you. Let hope be the gift of the ashes, that the world is made new once again. Marison took embarrassingly long to teach me that I'm really bad at remembering things.
It helps that
Good
you can
job.
hear that same prayer echoing from across the entire city. in a
True.
way.
It's like the national anthem, right? Like,
Exactly.
Star Spangled Banner.
They're going to leave you here until about mid-morning, just to continue in contemplation of the sun, until a group of white no, they're wearing white robes, but then with sort of a mantle of the sun's red, and they're going to lead you to the southern temple. So congratulations, you're all making a complete circumference of the entire city today.
Oh boy, getting our steps in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your steps are going to be completely fine.
Yeah, can I wear my Fitbit as well as a friend?
All right, fine. But that's going in the fire too when you're done. The second rite, because you're still undergoing this purification and connection to self. The light of the sun at noon pierces every shadow. And it is here upon this temple, the Temple of Noon, under the burning hot desert sun, lots of glare, no weather today. And here you're asked to just stand and let that light shine and pierce every shadow and every untruth and every deception. And Garnet, you feel a little Una, you feel a little noir, a little thing or two here or there. But the good news is you're not on trial today. So whatever feelings Garnet may have about this aren't being required to be shared.
Athalor just kind of spreads his
Mhm.
arms wide, lets that sun wash over him,
Mm-hmm.
and sees if any dark little secrets come pouring out.
I need you to roll a wisdom saving throw, please, Athalor.
Not good at these.
I think that's a good thing.
You have a
Uh-oh.
inspiration.
True.
Wait, is it a
why
good
not?
thing? Wait,
Ooh.
huh?
No, it is what it is.
Okay. Okay. Athalor, you are blinded. And in that light, you feel as if it's passing through you entirely and casting a shadow on the other side of you. But that shadow is translucent. In every fiber of your flesh, every cell, there is a mark. Something that the light does not pierce. Something that is so integral to your body that has been there since the day you were born. It is the place from which your power has flowed. It is a part of your genetic makeup. It is a physical part of your flesh. And it is that connects you to your uncle. You can almost
What we have to burn away.
see yourself walking into every chamber you've ever been in, protected by shrouds and spells and defenses, but none of those work when the call is coming from inside the house, when your very flesh connects you to your uncle.
I can't see. Is it like flashbang white or darkness?
Flashbang white.
It's only the sun. Nothing else.
And then there's a distant sound, Athalor. Beneath your feet, behind your eyes, in your bones. The hum of the gyre, home. That hum, that sometimes soundless hum that lets you know that you're home. You're where you belong. You've wielded that power before to do great things, to save your entire home. But Athalor, that's also a part of your flesh. If you go down this path, well, all these realizations are burning into you in that light. The Alfar are not exempt from the cycle of birth, life, death, and renewal. But their path upon death leads them and what they were and all that they were into the other world to mingle with the wild power of the Fae and to become part of the ancestral memories that connect all the Alfar. That is also a part of your flesh. Athalor, if you go through with this and are born anew, you will be forever free from Lamriel, from the changes enacted upon you from before you were even born to connect you to your uncle. But that will be a new body. It will not be connected to the gyre. That innate reverberation that you have, your knowledge will be intact. Everything you've learned of the gyre will be intact. But that resonance that you have experienced, that has been your comfort, will also be gone. And the paths of memory that you walk as one of the Alfar will also be gone. You will be free, but much that is your legacy will have to also be burned away. When your eyesight slowly returns to you, the light leaves behind these truths. For Mason and Garnet, it's bright, it's hot.
It's not just Lamriel. I'll lose so much of my home within me. But what's left will be all me. Won't be shared, won't be tainted. Won't be risk to anyone I care about. I look
Priests.
at this selfishly.
Sorry, go ahead.
If I can't remember what we've done, I'll need you two to do a lot of storytelling.
The priests and their censers of incense and their burning coals are waiting for you to lead you to the Western Temple, the Temple of the Sunset. the Temple of Death. They wait for you to step forward and follow them. There is an unasked question hanging in the air. The path that leads down the steps towards the west, and the other paths that lead back into the city in other directions. They're waiting for you, but they're not rushing you.
Athalor takes a stop at the top of the stairs and loosens the friendship bracelet that's, I believe, marked with a blue sapphire from Ariana and hands it over to Mason. You didn't get one of these, but welcome to the club.
Are you sure?
If I take it in there, it'll...
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Athalor gives him a little wink and then nods over towards what he assumes is Garnet wearing her own with the red jewel, and then follows them down.
Entrepreneurs on the bracelet.
So they don't want us. DM question: they don't want us being there, or they do,
no.
or
You should follow as well. They were just
okay.
waiting to lead you to the Temple of Death, but weren't saying, "Hey, it's time to go
Come
to
on,
the Temple of
die
Death."
time.
Exactly. This is a
Let's get this
decision
barbecue going.
moment.
Okay, cool.
The Temple of the Setting Sun is the mirror image of the Temple of the Dawn. The exact same pillar wings waiting to catch the sun and mourn it as it finishes its journey. And here, Garnet, High Priest Pothinus, or High Priest Wallagash, Priest King Pothinus, your mother, not the whole council. Not the whole council is there. But there are a lot of high-ranking priests and clerics, all in their ceremonial garb, gathered here as the sun slowly descends. And it's going to be a few hours. They want you to prepare yourself, which involves a similar cleansing ritual that Athalor underwent. Anointed with ashes, sweat out in the sauna, hot bath, robes. And the Priest King will take the opportunity before, as a gesture for you to follow, since Athalor has already been through the ritual, the Priest King will take this opportunity to intercept you for a moment. And just ask if you are ready to do this.
To me or Athalor?
To you.
Says yes, but
Mhm.
friends would know this is not her usual confident yes.
Roll a deception check, yes or no?
Like, what do you mean no? Like,
Do you want to roll a deception check?
no, but if
Okay.
you want me to, I can.
Dude's got a 24
Okay, now
and 19.
that's why I seem a bit unsure, but
Okay.
Just roll
maybe-
for fun.
maybe more out of like concern for the friend, less
Mhm.
about self-confidence, more focused on him.
I know you've been gone for a very long time, and I know the path that has taken you has been dark, and the sun's light has not always reached you. And perhaps it is wrong of me to ask you to have faith. And instead I will ask you to trust your own reason. It is not our power we rely on. In your own experience, in your own eyes, in your own actions, is the one we call upon likely to fail?
It's just like gesturing for him to lead the way, and it's just
All right, no response.
given
Cool.
up on.
All right.
Just doesn't want to be talked to right now.
All right. He'll take the hint, and they lead you off to go through all that. Mason, that leaves you alone with Athalor and in like a little side chamber with just some burning incense, a little meditation room. And you can hear there's a crowd. It's not like a crowd of city folk curious to come see the barbecue. It's just it's like the highest ranking clerics of Brontha have been gathered. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of footsteps, a lot going on, a lot of hushed voices.
Contra turns to Athalor. Are you sure? Are you ready?
Yes, I'm sure. Don't know if I'm ready.
It's kind of a big thing to be ready for.
Yeah. It weighs heavily.
As it should.
I have faith, though. Although, if an alpha herd did think I was being ludicrous, it is faith for the more mortal kin, though I'll have a lifespan shorter than any of them quite soon.
Suppose so.
Did you see on your walk the architecture? But I still plan on us finishing off that art project. It's probably going to be more important when I have to thank them for doing all of the gestures out to crowd noises. This for
Yeah. I guess you're right. And I did. A lot of it. I have a lot of great ideas. I'll tell you about them soon.
Athalor, is there like an attending clergy or whatever?
You can get help
Nearby?
if you can get somebody if you need an acolyte.
Athalor, like with one of the acolytes, has like the sun red thing on them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
would I be allowed to do something similar to mine?
Just the mantle?
Yes.
There's we had something else for this, a very specific garb. Did you need something? Did you have a request? They almost said the word last request, but they just barely didn't.
I had
Yikes.
an artist, if they'd be able to add over the top or under.
Yeah, certainly.
Excellent.
All right.
Athalor returns over to Mantra and hands over IOTH's quill. Any runes of bravery you happen to know?
I can write the word for it if you want. Runes.
We can pretend.
This thing I've got.
I'll come back as a better actor and pretend harder.
I'll do a little word on it too, kind of.
Thank you.
Actually, yeah, let me try this. And Mantra will go with the quill to write the word bravery, but also try to write the like spell matrix for like a restoration ward like onto it and bind it together, kind of out of like a restoration ward that Mantra usually uses as like a comfort kind of thing. And you know, it's not quite bravery per se, but it's, you know, the closest thing he's got. So try his best to do that.
All right.
Roll anything for it or just do it.
Roll Arcana.
17.
Okay. Probably worked. I mean, it's IOTH's quill. There's magic in there. It's reactive, so it probably worked. Garnet, when you emerge, they have ceremonial robes for you. That the top, sort of the shoulders area, is stitched in with actual feathers, like real feathers. Probably dyed to resemble the colors of the phoenix, since phoenix feathers aren't exactly like all over the place. But these are effectively clerical clergy robes that they have for you.
Puts them on wherever they have a room for me to change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right outside. I mean, you had to take a bath and all that, so they had the whole setup
Oh.
there for ritual cleansing. And when they come to get you, at the same time, Athalor, they bring you a different robe to wear.
Oh.
That also has feathers on it.
Okay, we'll go again.
Okay, that was I can
One
do
moment.
it even better the next time.
Yeah, practice makes perfect.
Mhm.
Garnet, when you arrive at the top of the temple, a pyre has been built of cedar and other aromatic rare woods. It's pretty tall. It is not lit. There are sticks of cinnamon and other spices and incense scattered around its edges. And Athalor, the last step for you before you step up there is being anointed with holy oils, which are also very flammable.
Oh, yeah.
That's so fucked.
Athalor glances back towards Mantra, like, oh, keep a hold of the quill for a second. It's a very important heirloom for my people.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you. Oiled. Oh.
Pothinus will, holding up Pyre Lighter, the censer brought by Calor the prophet from the desert, will intone in his full throated voice, Athalor on Onderud. Will you pass unto death of your own choice?
I will.
Do you feel that you must return as yourself?
If Zaylar wills it, I will return as myself.
There was a third question that he doesn't ask. And they have some wooden steps set up for you to walk up and stand on top of the gigantic pile of flammable things.
Athalor walks up and glances down at his friends with a somewhat cope, but also nice wink.
Give a reassuring smile. As reassuring as Montrick can muster.
Garnet, all the gathered high-ranking clerics of Zaylar begin casting a spell at the exact same time. But they're taking their time, and Pothinus gestures for you to step up to the front of the pyre, which has been absolutely doused in oil.
Steps up quietly. Do they want me to go?
Yeah, they're following your lead. They're all delaying their spells to allow you to pull the trigger.
While Garnet's casting, Athalor wants to lean down towards her. First time we were here, I asked the High Priest for words that you'd say to devout Bronthon if they found themselves on the edge. And they gave me 2 sentences, and I thought that maybe one day I'd be saying them to you if things got too far along. They told me it is never too late for anyone, and death is not the end. So, I hope they're right.
And just like smiles and raises her marked hand with the, I guess, light that comes out of a searing smite, and just gestures towards the pyre to light it. while trying to, although she has a hard time to, looks up at Athalor and like a supportive sort of meets his eyes to kind of be there with him in spirit through all of it.
As the fire bursts forth from Garnet's mark, Pothinus joins 10 other priests of the faith as all of them chant the exact same spell. And all of them cast Flame Strike. A column of fire descends from the sky, meeting the light from Garnet's hand that wraps itself around you. There is a burning light that you feel for one moment with all of you. And not gonna lie, it hurts. I don't think anyone ever gave you the drugs.
Well, I thought we did.
We mentioned them, but I don't think they ever actually happened.
Oh.
And then
I can tank it.
you take 286 combined points of fire and radiant damage.
Yeah, let me just see if I have to carry the one here. 42 minus 200.
What's your AC?
You want to roll 11 saves?
No, you know what? I think I'll let the math.
Okay. There is a searing blast of light that can be seen probably across the entire city. The scorching heat blasts against you, Garnet. The rush of air, the feathers on your robes flutter, your hair goes blasting backwards. Just this enormous searing mantra, you might have to look away. It is so bright. And when it is gone, the pyre and Athalor are ashes. And would you look at that? It's time for the end of our show.
No, there's 3 minutes. There's 3 minutes. No.
Okay. Well, there's 3 minutes, so that's enough for the clergy to begin very carefully and solemnly gathering up the ashes in a golden vessel. As the last light of the setting sun fades across the city, and Pothinus, holding Calor's incense censer and his staff, gestures for Mantra and Garnet to follow him as you proceed to the northern temple on the other side of the city to wait for sunrise with the ashes of your dead friend for several more.
Whoops.
Oopsie whoopsie.
Oh,
Somebody
Roll a
like,
dexterity saving throw.
how much time did I burn with that?
2 minutes.
All right, we have 50 seconds. I don't know if I can do everything I wanted to do before the dawn in 50 seconds.
Nah, that's a good ending point.
All right. We will see all of you next time on Book of Dawn, IOTH Academy. Athalor, please don't join us for detention because you're dead, okay?
Yeah. Put like dead across the screen.
I'll see if I can whip that up.
Deceased.
All right. Thank you, everyone.